Welcome, everybody, to BeoTalk 239. Willie made it,
Forgot some.
sort of, in time. You're becoming more French by the week.
I guess so. Yeah.
uh, what the hell is that Elvish in chat? Husk at whatever. Yeah, keep that in
I
your
don't know.
Elvish country with your pointy ears and your weird blonde hair. And
Sounds like you passed out on the keyboard, is what it is. For
uh,
God's sakes.
yeah,
Anyways,
well, let's get some. Oh, you're large again. I'll make you smaller.
run run your typical thing.
Uh, Come and subscribe to our Substack if you don't want to see our faces, which seems to be become more and more popular every week. People want to see us less. Eventually, we don't have to
Cool.
have webcams on anymore.
That'd be cool. Just do it from the car driving to a job and not waste time at all.
Yeah, also you can download the episode so you're not data limited if you're in a country where that's annoying. And you can keep the app shut, so it's on Substack. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. You just need a an email address, and that's about it. So that's our Substack out of the way. Then we have Skinny Play, of course. We have a promo code with that, so if you want some Christmas goodness in your life, you can get 10% off of just about everything.
I think one of the clients here is going to reach out to them to do a stage grill with the look of their marble. So they'll take a picture and they can size it up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Because I've seen them do custom things where they matched wallpaper and it actually matched. I think I showed that a while ago.
We showed it once, yeah. I'm certain I remember that. It was gray, wasn't it? Or grayish.
Yeah, and then there were like curvy lines on the
Yes,
wallpaper.
yeah. So that's exactly what like, because it's beautiful marble in there in that house. Beautiful marble, just these huge streaks. It's perfect. So yeah. Anyways,
And
that's
our other friends over at Prestige Creators, go show them some love. If you have some Beolab 5s that you want to, mainly keep now that the theater makes them awesome.
mm-hmm.
Go and
Yeah,
buy some.
those would go nice with the theater,
Yeah,
in my opinion, as well, because you can just color match them now.
yeah, and if you're not aware of Prestige, they have, if I'm not mistaken, something like 60 colors you can choose from.
Yeah.
So it's pretty insane, and they have it for a lot of things, really.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. And come join our Discord. Always good fun. Lots of interesting things that you can learn and or talk about and or.
I for some reason can't log into my Discord with the new phone because this Samsung thing just like it's unapologetic now. Like it just keeps rebooting itself, whatever you want to try to do. Like thankfully I like well, my bank information doesn't matter, right? Because you can just log in from the card. But everything else is a pain in the ass to just get out of the phone now. Photos are backed up on Google anyways. I hate that because every time I'm like, I've had this phone for like 4 years now. I'm gonna move away from it, and it's like starting over, no matter what. No matter what, it's always starting from scratch, more or
Have you
less, with the phones.
updated the Android version ever at all?
Yeah, both the phones are up to date with
Mm.
everything, but just to migrate stuff and how the icons, arrange them, right? Because sometimes the new screen, there's like, I don't, I no longer have this goofy, what's that button
Bixby.
thing from Bixby? For God's sakes, like.
I wonder if that's still a thing or not.
No, it's they on the S20s they took that stupid button off, man. Because even like I paid money to have the function removed by somebody else that made an app to fucking ignore that. I was so sick of it. And yeah, a few updates later, like at the end of it, it just started freaking popping back up, and I'm like, oh, god damn you. But yeah, now it's shot more or less completely, so I moved on to the Ulefone thing that I bought, but I need a thin phone because this thing is stupid.
Yeah. Also, things I forgot. If you want to super chat us for a guaranteed answer to your topic and or question, that helps. It also helps keep the light on, quite literally. Tonight I have a hard out at 10 because I have to be up at 4 a.m. to go to the UK, so no stream tomorrow.
What are you doing?
My grandmother's solicitors decided it's about time, since she's in a care home, to sell the house, so come over and take your memorabilia and
Fuck. So are you driving out there or flying out there?
driving, because otherwise we can't
I
take the
can say you gotta
memorabilia
load
with.
shit up. Fudge. That sucks.
So
there's your start of the week.
yeah, it's
That sucks.
arranging this has been like pulling teeth all the way around.
When did you find out that you're like driving to UK? Well, it's not really that far, I guess.
The initial idea is 2 weeks old now. Then
Okay.
it was basically set until 5 days ago. Then my sister was like, nah. And then I started making a plan B and like, Brian, help. Because he lives like 20 minutes away from my grandparents. And I had mostly stuff set up with him. And then she's like, actually. It's like, God damn it.
Fuck.
So the actual arrangement of the current trip as it stands, the last thing was arranged today.
So you're leaving tomorrow at 4 a.m.
Well, yeah, in like 8 hours from now.
Word.
It's not cool.
I've been having the whole fucking week of 4 a.m. wake ups and be home around 6:37 because we had a big job with the 90s in, but they're not unboxed yet, in Mont Tremblant, which is about 2 hour drive from my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
2.5, I would say. Because I go to the shop, meet up, and then we drive off the shop, and it's about 2 hours to get there.
So are you the only one with the skates and everything, or does the shop have them?
No, they have the skates, and they also have the tuning mic, that, like the original one. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about the tuning mic not being or be replaced now by the Theate sound mic.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's I haven't heard the difference yet. Supposedly, it's just you could use a little adapter apparently, or you get. I don't know if there's a technical difference between the two, because the new 50s 90s theater mic comes with a RJ45 instead of 3.5mm.
Which one?
The new one for the 50s and 90s comes with RJ45 on the end, but on the theater it's 3.5mm jack.
Oh, okay, yes, but they're both same microphones.
Physically, I don't know if there's internally any difference. I mean, one would think not if it's that similar. But it is the thing I did like about the original mic is that you kind of needed one of those tripod stands thing, but that also meant you could place it perfectly.
Exactly where you want it to, yes.
And this with the feet thing, there's not really anything to clamp it on to anything. And I mean, I guess you can use pillows to like go high, low, and
Yeah, but that's ghetto fabulous, right? Like, and you can't hold it steady for that long, for the duration of like 90s, running all sides, and like tune the all sides, right? Because it's 8 times each. It's 16 sequences. You got to stand there, but just not even breathe heavy.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's one of those things, but yeah. Also, partially why the hard out is 10, because that gives me time to edit this and put it up to Substack and that sort of nonsense, and actually still have like 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, traveling sucks. I hate traveling at night. That's just I don't like it.
The thing is, from here, it's either flying or you take a day boat. But the day boat takes like 8 hours on the bloody boat, because it's one of these slow ass, ginormous boats for freighters, really. So the other option is to go to like Dunkirk or Calais, and then it's a 2-hour boat. But from here, you have to get past Antwerp, and Antwerp is fucking miserable if there's any traffic at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's sort of similar to London, right? Like as soon as people wake up, it's just traffic jams all the way around.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And it's a pretty big city, so it's like, yeah, you're better off going either early or later in the day, but then you miss out on the whole day. So
Montreal's like that too. As soon as people are up, everything's clustered.
yeah,
But so I don't know. It's fun. It's fun here comparatively to Calgary because they have what we have -2. They have -20 or some nonsense over there right now.
yeah, like
So
5 foot of snow.
fudge. I'm glad that I'm not dealing with that. But I did get my winter tires because it's cheaper for me to pay $850 to get the winners, change the oil in the car, and all the filters,
Hmm.
and plus the in-cabin. It was $850 cash, $25 tip I gave him.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Then Audi quoted me $380 per tire. I'm like, piss off. I'm like, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night, and I'm not doing that. So it would have been like a
But
$2,000 bill from Audi.
uh,
But like if you don't have the winners here, so apparently like they'll give you a ticket and impound your car for 30 days. And then you have to get the tow truck to tow it to the shop because you don't get the fucking winter tires on it, right? You gotta tow it to the shop to put the winter tires on. So it's like a $4,000 or $5,000 ordeal. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just put 850 in and stay legal and drive around. But yeah. Uh,
weird. Anyway, also, the reason why the new intro isn't up and people get an extra week is because of the whole England trip and this nonsense of setting it up. So if you want to submit your pictures for the new intro,
you still have time.
yeah, you
That's
still
right.
have time. I'll put my
Let's
email.
go through some pics, see what we've got so far, what we've gathered. Right?
It's quite a lot. I'll go through the ones I got in the last week
Okay.
because
Geico
the
says
other.
Beolab 90 mic similar to and made by Behringer ECM 8000.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
microphone. Okay.
speaking of
Well, that's
Guy, I think this is his setup, if I'm not mistaken.
nice. That breaks my heart. Mine are in a fucking storage box. I was thinking when I get to theater in January, I'm just gonna dig out the 18s for the shits and giggles because it's a 1-bedroom apartment. It's all I'll need, and I'll put them in
In the height
what's
surround
it called?
mode with
Yeah,
90s up front.
yeah.
Just buy some
So
28s at the store.
I don't want the 28s. I have 18s. I'm fine with those, and I actually have the 18 set up in a store with the theater, and I like the sound of it. I wanted to actually see, but I might consider go full cardo and buy the screen for the theater as well. We go with the 65 because I don't
Yeah.
need more than that.
Well.
Not in that apartment, man. Like, so I would do a 65 on a floor stand, silver, of course.
You just need a screen where you turn it on and you don't need to have any extra lights on.
They need to figure out how to mount the goddamn 83 inch on it. That's what they need to figure out.
I mean, this is a great picture. I love this.
I love that picture.
Also, setup is great, but the picture is good too. I fucking love this wall.
So how does it sound with the 90s and the theater? Does it keep up pretty well? Because that's one of my biggest questions. Like, that's a big room too.
Yes, he said.
That's awesome.
We chatted a bit over email, and similar findings to mine, where this totally keeps up, whereas the Eclipse before was basically off. Just use the Phantom center from the 90s, but with the theater, it's no problem. Just balls to the wall, go. Which is good news. Which is what I experienced. It's just good to have it confirmed in the real world. mean, it's not like I can loan some 90s somewhere to try it out.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
also like it's the way that they're set up, right? Like there's people that have different rooms, obviously, that these things are sitting in, right?
Yeah.
So the rug definitely helps because I've found it myself when I've put that in there. But
Also, this wall on the left isn't gonna flex with the base.
fuck,
I
that's
mean, they're
nice.
powerful, but they're not that powerful.
No, that's not gonna move
You know,
nothing.
after like a year of living there, you slide one of those old stones out.
But yeah, this I love the look of it. I wonder. I don't think it would look any better with the wood grill. I think it looks perfect as it is with the melange.
Yeah, I think it looks
It's not too
nice.
offensive to the speakers.
Also, there's not as much wood on the 90s as there is on the 50s.
No, that's exactly it. So Canon proof. Yeah, that's sweet.
I mean, by the looks of it, somebody tried it like a few hundred years ago.
But yeah, this is very nice. So you're using I guess the table stand that comes, not that it comes with.
No, it's the one from the box. Sorry, the add-on one, and it's on a. You're not supposed to say it, but it's an rotated IKEA lack or whatever it's called.
Oh,
But it hides all your cables and all your mesh on the behind, and it looks fine. And I actually like it.
I love the shape. That's a chunky ass shape, bro. I really like it.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, these are used as rear speakers,
Oh, sick.
and or like streaming. But
We're gonna put a subwoofer with our shape in the store.
so, what would you actually attach it to at that point then?
That's what I'm thinking. Like power link from the core.
Okay, but isn't the power link not used from the core for the amps?
No, it goes optical and USB.
Oh, okay.
So just throw a PL and put the 19 on the bottom and let that shit roll with it.
Is the core clever enough that it knows it has a sub, so then low frequency is diverted, or are you like
I'll just
stripping?
put a full signal in it and let that thing take care of it.
Okay. Well, it's just like, because if that takes some of the drivers in the shape, the strain away. Oh, no, you have to make a particular setting on the
Okay,
sub.
there we go. See, but I would find out either way.
Oh, there's
Okay, I'll go to the ROS and look at it. I still don't have access to it. I'm waiting number 3 months now, so hopefully they'll get it sorted out. I never got the email from the server, I guess. So I'm waiting because otherwise I would have been not even asking. I just would have known already by now because I'd be reading through the whole thing. Oh, dude, I'd burn through the whole fucking ROS in 2 weeks for sure.
I know you'd probably be disinterested in just reading off to the side every night we're doing this.
No, it's common though. I am definitely into it.
I mean, B&O, if you're listening, you need to make stands for the balances. I've said this before with, I forget your, Sindra, I think it is. Just because this would be better if it was dedicated B&O stands. Not that this isn't nice, but
It would be nice if they made a stand like that. But
it's also like it's money lost because like they're not spending it with you. They're spending it
those
somewhere
stands
else.
could be made the same as like the old Beosound ones or the 3200 floor stand was. That type. Yeah, you'd have to have a heavy ass base because these things definitely would be top heavy. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that's sensible or not, but it definitely is.
Or a tripod like this works.
Mhm. But yeah, thanks Christian for the tip. I'm looking forward to it. To
So
see
what
how
sub
it
are you
sounds.
adding? A 19?
19. Yeah.
Sweet.
There is no other one. I'm not gonna like dig up a dusty old lap 2.
Yeah, but you have a lap 11 somewhere.
Well, I have one here that I gotta change the board in, and I have one in the storage that most likely, as soon as I turn it on, it'll pop.
They all do.
They all have. Every single one that I've owned, I have popped. I had to put a new amplifier chassis in, or well, at the time, I just sent them out to get fixed. But I only had one that was done twice over in whatever 7 years. That is cool. I love this picture.
I mean, what turns up my mood is that so many people already have theaters. I like that a lot.
I love it, man. I think I've installed 8 by now. I'm almost losing track.
Sweet.
It's wicked. Yeah.
I mean, that
wicked.
must mean it's as good a product as I think it is.
It's a fantastic product, man. You just gotta go with the recommended G2 panel. Don't go with the C2 and C2 or any of that rattly nonsense. Get exactly what needs to be. But also, I still, to my experience with it, there should be more felt where there's a direct metal and metal contact. That's just saying to guys in wherever you are doing this research or whatnot. I bought about, what is it, two centimeters wide by 5 centimeters tall close-held sticking foam, and that's what I put around like the brackets and shit. So when you put the theater in there, just snug as hell, like it doesn't vibrate, because that's the back and forth motion on that loosey goosey clickers, right, or the slots where it goes in. That's what creates a lot of headache. So to alleviate that, this is the way to do it. Love the Eames chair on that picture, by the way.
I don't know if you can, but you should
17.
really think of mounting them like with the wall bracket here.
Yeah, because that 17 is basically like the dude in a train trying to get out. Fucking, it's too busy. I would put them up. I would definitely put them up. You'd be shocked how much better they will sound. Because right now they're just firing into the couch.
Yeah, which is sort of like you talking always a bit like this.
Or just for the shits and giggles, reverse them. Put the 18s in the back and 17s in the front, just for the fun of it.
Yeah, that works too.
But beautiful setup, anyways. No cables that I can see, so we're good.
Well, there's 1 or 2 cables I saw, but like they're needed. Like there's no way to route them anywhere else anyway. Plus, it's only like a foot, like 30 centimeters.
Yeah. That theater looks awesome, man. I really like it. I think the 65-inch wings are the most appropriate ones.
Correct.
77s. I've done 77s, and actually, I've done an 83 versus 65-inch wings. Look fucking balls deep, man. I forgot to take a picture because we were just in a hurry. Not in a hurry, but we moved the 77 into the what's it called, into the bedroom, and I just looked at it. I apologized and I say, I'm sorry, but you are going to buy a stage, because there is no way in hell that you're coming from an 83-inch theater to the bedroom where it's probably from the little panel, right, or the panel speakers. Like, no, you're buying a theater, you're buying a stage, man, at least, if not another theater. But he went to Germany for a week, so hopefully then when he comes back, he'll have time to think about it. But yeah, that looks sick. I love it. The wood and everything just matches. That's an awesome setup too.
Yeah, I like all this minimalism.
The anthracite actually looks pretty interesting in real life as well. I've done one. It's not installed yet, but it's at the client's house waiting. Yeah, that one is definitely very interesting.
I mean, this must also be an 83-inch panel by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Or at least 77.
I don't know. I think it's a 77 with the 65-inch rings. Or 83 maybe?
Yeah.
Could be an 83.
I mean, I do think they made a correct choice in ditching the brass tone and going for the anthracite.
I agree. This is way more tolerable in a big room.
Oh, it is 83.
83. So this is way more tolerable in any setting, because an anthracite is wicked because it just disappears. Some people just don't like the reflection of the wings, right? But the anthracite really eats it down, right? Or brings it down because it's dark, but it's still very elegant color. Like If you see it in real life, it's fat. I done a gold one. Gold one looked in that house or apartment, sorry, it looked balls deep, man. Because everything was, they're old too, so everything was around the. They had this huge grandfather clock that was of gold in it and shit, and the wood matched. So it was, yeah, it looked really nice.
Yeah,
Except that goofy LG panel should have been black, in my opinion. I don't know if you can get those. I think they're orderable now in black frame.
mine is. I have no aluminium on the edge.
So, but if I'm gonna put it on a floor stand, I'm definitely gonna buy. I don't care. I'll get a silver one at that point.
I mean, this is the best part. It's 28 all around.
That must sound awesome too.
Yeah.
That must sound awesome too.
I mean,
Are these all limited edition ones? The
no.
well, just the
No,
anthracite with
the limited edition ones were aluminium engraved with black lamellas, not black fabric, black wood.
Yeah, dude, this must put down some serious boss. Yeah, that this would sound very interesting, I would say.
I mean, if I had nothing, and this, I mean, I think I
You'd be
saw
very sad.
for sure. But if I had nothing and had to do it over at current day prices, I mean, am I actually going to buy a set of 50s or 428s?
I'd go with the 428s because then, if you never really lived around the 50s, then you wouldn't be poisoned by the way that they sound towards the 28s, right? That's the biggest difference that you have.
Yeah.
So if you had never known that, you know what I mean? If you never walked those shoes, you didn't know how comfortable they were or uncomfortable they were. So if you go with 428s in a theater, I honestly think that sonically, that's how it was designed. That they just go like, this is our top of the line. The 50s and 90s are a completely different level, right?
Yeah.
It's just 28s are going to be basically our lap 5 replacement, but in a smaller package, not as powerful. But if you put it together with the sound bar, it'll blow your fucking windows out. You know?
God, so the one set of 50s is now 42 grand without the Mercedes grills. And those were 3 grand when I bought them, and they've probably gone up as well. So let's say an easy 45.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, it's now a set of 50s or a theater and 428s.
I would go with the B.
Yeah, because you have a 5.1 with the theater and potentially a panel or just speakers.
But that's more than enough that you wouldn't even, I don't think, if you wanted to go a little bit more over, because let's say you bought the 50s, you need to get at least a core, because I don't know, like, I wouldn't do no hanky setups and shit through a Yamaha receiver or whatever. Fuck that. Get a core and then feed the core so it triggers things properly. So that's another $1,100 or US, whatever it is, 1350 Canadian now. You get that. What else you would get? That's the basic setup. But if you go with the theater 428s, you know what? If you go and squeeze for a Lab 19, I think you can't go wrong at all. Because the 19 would help out a lot in that setup.
I'm just gonna do some math here. Fuck me. Jesus Christ.
So it's $28,500 for 2 pairs.
Yeah, so that leaves 16.5 grand for a theater, which is what, including panel. If you have it separate on a wall, not even 16. So you can probably buy.
You can buy a 19 still, if they give you a deal. Because you're talking straight retail, right? Which, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but if you buy all that in one go, a theater, a panel, and 428s, you can probably throw in another set of 17s for heights around. And you still have some money left over.
Buy a Bio Remote 2. Or Bio Remote 1, but buy 2 of them.
Yeah. Woo. I don't know if it's intentional, but you're pricing 50s out of the market for a lot of people because it doesn't make sense anymore.
I would disagree with it a little bit. I would disagree with it in the way that I see like what the Burmester systems cost, and people spend the money on that with the stack systems and whatnot. Like, yes, you can buy a set of 50s and do like Sandeep, run a nice fucking high quality streamer to it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like, but that's a different class of listening to music, in my opinion, completely. Like the 28s I would find are like the fun system. You know what I mean? It's just like you put them here, you put them there, and they just work perfectly, hopefully. But they are not too obtrusive, and they do produce enough sound that like they're impressive to an extent. But 50s and 90s, that's 90s is a completely different headache just to move them and just to set them up, and setting them up is actually fun, but to move them to places and get in the speaker where you want it to, sucks.
I actually did some quick math and I was underselling it. So you can have a set of 50s,
Or
or you can have 428s, a Theatre 65 with an 83-inch panel, and 417s.
417s,
Because
like
after the
pre-owned,
panel,
obviously.
yeah, but like on the high end, they're 2 grand here. Like
Fudge.
the median price here is between 16 and 1700. And if there were that, then you could potentially do something else or get some more remotes or
So there's 8 pairs. So that's 4 power links.
yeah,
That's you're full, and you
yeah,
have 8 more to go for wireless if it's possible to do.
yeah. So you can have your full. Well, it's not fully full, but you can have a 5.4 surround system with an 83-inch panel for the size of or for the price of 50s.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not sure I would ever go for 50s at that price anymore.
It depends. You're not see. I would, because I'm the music guy. You're a movie person. You are more into the surround, the envelopment, I guess, and like clear image, I guess, as well. But it's not a stereo, right? Where I fucking pass out on that goddamn image chair so many times just listening to music, and it's a completely different experience, or level of experience. It's nothing like it. It's absolutely nothing like it. But that's what I get off on. I just want to listen to the speaker. I don't give a shit for the 18s in the back or the Avant in the front. That doesn't even exist. But you sit there and you just when the speakers take you away, damn, like it's soul smoothing. Like that's what it is. So and that's what to me is worth every penny. And if I were to try to replicate that with, having the understanding that I have now off of the systems that we have, or they're selling them, like this lady bought, they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. They're beautiful, beautiful fucking wood walnut, because they're walnut. So it's really like, oh, Burmesters, right? I don't know what fucking series they was, but like nicely packed, very expensive. Like I think the setup was close to having literally a set of 50s and some change. And I didn't say nothing, but we turned them on. It was a Burmester amp and preamp, right? Like very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really excited. I was like, "Fuck, I want to hear this!" Right? I just like, what does that sound like? So we finally set it all up, and she, the guy that was with me, like he knows this shit, so he turns it on, and we whatever music she picked, and like I recognize the song, but I'm just like. Dude, if these were 50s up in here, man, she'd be like, oh my God, turn it down. But she couldn't get it high enough in volume. And, she was expecting way more for the money and all the gear, right? So,
Yeah.
like, if she just bought the 50s with like a core and, a Halo remote to toss in so you can do your volume without the phone, she'd be much more impressed. But I didn't say nothing because I'm not there to fuck this up. I'm not a sales guy. I'm an installer now. So I just, I
Even
chose.
so, even if you're a sales guy, are you going to tell somebody they spent their money badly?
No, like if you want that, you want that, right? That's the difference between sales and a fucking honest
Yeah.
opinion. So, but no, these are not it. I forget what the fuck the speakers are. The ones that have the tweeter. Oh, Bowers and Wilkins. Fuck, that's what they were.
Oh.
Yeah, Bowers and Wilkins with that stupid,
Oh, the
Cyclops
800
tweeter.
series.
Yeah, the Cyclops tweeter, whatever. Right? Fuck. So, but the beautifully, beautifully crafted, like very, very nicely done. Very, very nicely done speakers. But for me, coming from again compared into cost versus gear versus experience of it, for that money or that level of investment, if we're talking about that, I would have gone with the 50s. But
Yeah,
they were
I
boxed up.
mean, this is when I went looking for speakers back in the day. My choice was between that 800 series and 50s, and in the end, for me, 50s won it.
Well, I'm glad because the podcast would have never happened. Because I wouldn't be here bitching about some Burmeisters and Bowers and Wilkinses.
These probably.
But yes, exactly that. So very nice, and with the grills all magnetic like and cool.
I'm not entirely sure they look as good as 50s to my eyes. And also, you have to
No,
place them off the wall to get the most of them and that sort of
that's
thing.
right. That's right. We had to move them, and she's like, "No, they're too far off. I want them closer." I'm like, "Well, they will sound like shit."
Yeah.
So, and for that much money, I think you should just be quiet, lady, and let us set it up. And then you know what? Once we leave, listen to it, and if you really want to move, then then just like after a week or two, call us back after a follow up, and just no, I want to move. So fuck it, we'll move him, and then we'll come back the third time and move him back because you'll be like, fuck, they sound like shit after that.
Yeah.
So, but that's so comparatively, like, and they're beautiful made, like fuck, man, like very, very nicely crafted speaker. Like I'm not, not one bad thing to say about it other than this. But the sound was very nice, but it was just not enough, man, for the fucking money that I would have spent on that.
Yeah, it's not
I
cheap.
want I want this to be fucking loud.
I mean, people say B&O is expensive, but this is equally as expensive, if not more.
Way more, because then the cables, fucking cables, man. So I opened the cables came in a wooden box. Why? Why not package like everything else? Yeah, like little caskets and shit. Like fuck. Oh, I've been used to like the thin little cardboard slivery box from B&O, and or like if you get the 5 meters and up, then you have the triple pack of it. But fucking works, man. The cables has been okay ever since I started working with B&O. It's a long time now. Never had an issue.
I mean,
But these had to like come from, I don't know, like Vatican fucking seal of approval on it, and here you go.
Yeah, and the ease at which you spend 10 grand on an amp for one speaker with these is pretty
It's
insane.
it's it's heartbreaking, bro. Like I just do not understand that market at all. Like I guess I've been dipped in this B&O bubble for so bloody long that I just don't see the rhyme and reason in anything else because it just doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Like looking at how much is in the package of one for B&O, and coming to design the craftsmanship, the unique software, the freaking BeoLink and all that shit. Like this is cool.
Yeah.
You don't have anything and just sit there like a dweeb with an Apple 2 or AirPlay 2, whatever the heck it is, and tap off the
I mean,
phone.
this is not the top of the line one, but it's 28
No,
grand for just the speakers and they're passive. So that's, I don't know, like another grand in cables. You need a source, and then probably close to 10 plus grand in amps.
it was a $50,000 sale because you can pull up the invoice and see, right? I
Yeah.
go, that's where the address is. So it was around 50 grand Canadian after tax. But you could have pushed for 50s at that point.
I mean, these are the true big daddies. They're 38 grand for a pair.
Yeah, we have those in the store, I think. Those are the big boys. They sound okay. like to me they sound okay, right? Guys are over there wet because oh my god, the sound is awesome. It sounds so clean. I'm looking at it like okay, but you know what? Like if you're used to the sound that B&O has, it's different sound than anything else, really. I just find it way more leveled and cleaner, and not surgically cleaner, but almost, you know.
Yeah, if somebody gave me a new pair with amps and wanted my 50s in return, it's like, yeah, no. Even though it would
Hmm.
be like monetarily a good trade for me by like 10 grand, it's like, yeah, no.
No, no thanks. Move on with your sorry life. I'm not doing that shit.
I mean, it's also even for me as a somebody that watches films a lot. Like, how the hell do you get anything like this into a surround setup without having like stacks of amps everywhere? And
I have a whole freaking server room somewhere sitting with amplifiers all over the place,
yeah,
right?
well, I don't have that room in this place, so like they
But
have to would
that's
sit out here, which is problematic.
a whole fucking rack of blinking lights. Just have a nice 48 port switch. Just son of a bastard. Yeah, no, I just that's one thing that like there's really not much need. The only time that I really needed a rack uh, for specifically B&O was the house that I did in 2016, but it was old. It was before the core was invented, so we just have the Beosound Essence with the
Hmm.
IRs. Set IR on every room, and there's like 5 or 6 different zones. And I bought this STB bracket shelf that fucking looks balls, man. And the front, the gateway would slide in, so the aluminium would match. Oh, dude, it was so good. I have somewhere. I have the pictures of it, and that was the only time that I really required a rack to put all the stuff. Because also she had a amplifier. What is it? BOM 16. So there was 16 zone amp, so that all
Yeah.
the zones were fed into that. And well, then the
Yeah,
cable
when you
box,
go
blah blah
full
blah.
crazy is only time with B&O that you actually need a server rack. But
Very
even
very
if you
few
go
times.
quite crazy, you could probably do it with a 4U server rack or maybe a 6 or 8U. But you don't need
Oh,
like
that
what
one
you
was
sometimes see on that MTV Cribs type stuff where it's like
well, it's a
floor
full
to
height.
ceiling.
Yeah, that was a full height rack, and it had up was all the network, below was all the B&O, and then below that was all the power management, and below all of that was a camera system. Was that was 11 cameras in the house, 3.5 kilometers of Cat 7 in that job. It was the longest amount of wire that I'd ever run in my life, but or so far, I guess. But yeah, that was a good build. And quite honestly, to this day, the only thing that died was a switch and a one access point. Everything works like 100%.
Well, that's good.
And she's one of those tech dinos, like my mom too, right? That like there are only certain ways the shit works. If you start changing things, oh God forbid.
My button doesn't
But
work.
oh, I was asking my mom if everything works. The gateway works. Everything works because she had to change something from the TELUS. But no, everything is happening. So, Andrew, thank you very much
Thank you,
for the
Ander.
dono.
Speaking of expensive speaker sets, can you tell us something about your background? How did you get into hi-fi B&O? Do you currently work for or with B&O, or do you have any other music-related jobs? Sure. Thank you, Ander, once again.
I'm gonna make a coffee. You tell yours, and I'll tell mine later.
My background with B&O is actually a parental thing, really. It was seen as the pinnacle of quality, so we always had to have some. And I want to say up to I being like 10 or something, I was totally oblivious to it being Bang& Olufsen. Because the spare TV was the TV with the chocolate bar remote.
Oh, that's fine.
And I think I potentially ruined it with a bucket of water at one point. I
Fuck.
mean, I was like 6 or 8 or something like that. So
Yeah, you don't think much.
no, I wasn't very old. uh, and then once I really started noticing is when the Avant 28 came. God, was that
Oh,
exciting to have that in the house. A TV that turned.
Yeah, dude, that was sweet.
And we had 8,000s and 4,000s in the back with it, I want to say. And that was like, oh, sound everywhere. It's like, whoo. And then
Yeah.
you have your initial, was it Dolby or whatever, from your VHS tapes at the time? And that was obviously the pinnacle, and it couldn't get any better. And then it died twice. Uh,
Shit.
in like a year and a half, 2 years, the tube thing inside went. So what was it? I think red was gone, and mostly everything was purple because of that.
Oh shit.
And then it happened again like a year and a bit later. And the dealer was kind of embarrassed that we got a massive deal on an Avant 32, which was like, wow, it's flat now. And it's
And
that's
that's
much bigger.
32-inch was a big screen TV. I remember back in the yesteryears or
Yeah.
yesteryears.
And it had DVD. Like you could touch it and it would open on top of it. Like that was so awesome. And I guess that's where the true love started. And I just never looked back from there. It's like this is the shit for me. Like I must have this.
No matter what.
Yeah. And do I work with B&O? No. We work against each other quite often, it seems. It's the way the channel started is I bought some 50s and they were quite shit. Not
Yeah,
in terms
go
of
look at the
sound.
first podcast. But yeah, the way that they ticked.
Yeah, the sound is fine, but there was like every so often, and it drives me fucking nuts.
Nuts enough to start the podcast 4 years ago,
Yeah.
man. Fuck, more
Well, I
than
mean,
four.
I was pretty much ignored as a customer, so I decided, fuck it. Everybody just responds to when it's online now,
Hmm.
and I was right. They respond when it's online.
I did within 3 podcasts as well. So yeah, that's it.
But yeah, jobs not related to music at all. No, it's
Just love the
just
product.
just passion. I mean, it's not like I don't like other brands. It's just that for my own use, I want that B&O experience,
Hmm.
that seamlessness, that minimalism, that not stacks of amps everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it started when I was 15 years old. I came over my friend's house, and they had bought the 5500 systems with the red lines at the time, and I've never seen the freaking remote controlled turntable. First of all, right? So from there on, I fell in love with it, and it was really not hard, but it was kind of tough to get post-communist country to get. There was no B&O stores in Slovakia at the time. I don't think in Czech Republic either. And I think the closest one might have been in Warsaw, like in Poland, but that's another. It's a long ass drive. And then after I moved to Canada in '98, in 2002, a B&O store opened. I actually visited a shop called KNW where I first saw it was a boutique or store in store concept.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a whole wall of B&O. There was a Beosound Century at the time, and I think it was a 2400 with the doors, full system. And I just, holy shit, this is cool as hell. So, and I looked at the prices. I'm like, I need to save up for this. And then a few years later, B&O actually came around and said that we're going to a B1 concept boutiques. So the old man that co-owned, or his sons now own that K&W store, or one of the sons, he bought a plot of land in Calgary, very last plot of land in downtown, and he built a 3-story shop. Well, it was 1-story shop, but there was a couple more things that they did, like the Elegant Entertainment, which was a third-party company, as I call it. That they had a whole theater and everything done up, fully automated with Crestron at the time. And I was working in the architectural firm, so I was basically in the development department. So I was going to the city hall to deal with the fucking drawings, and there was such busy times that I would wait 3-4 hours. So the way I've done it, I went to Tim Hortons, and I bought two dozen packs of donuts, and I brought it the first time, second time to the city hall, third time to the city hall, and it's like, bro, just leave my drawings here and call me when I'm just about to go, right? So then I would go and hang out in the B&O store for 2-3 hours a day, and just hang with the guys, and bought my first product that I had bought was actually a coaster. I bought the coasters first, and then my wife bought me a Beosound 2, the MP3 player, and then I bought the Beovision 9. It was my next product that I bought. That was fucking hard and heavy because I didn't ask for permission, just the forgiveness. and after that, I just sat on B&O all the time. It became a lifelong passion, and a lifelong goal to always at one point work with the company. And then dream came true in March of 2011, where I went and one of my buddies quit at the shop because he was just sick and tired of it. And when he told me on Saturdays, because I would bring fucking sandwiches and shit and just kick tires all day long on Saturdays because that's when I was off, right? And just hang out. So I'd bring like Spolumbos, show up at noon. So we, have sandwiches, and then he tells me like, I'm fucking out of here. I'm like, are you from when? I'm like, 2 weeks from now. So I went Monday morning to work, and I just sent an email out, in 2 weeks, this chair will be empty. I'm sorry. That was fucking it. And my boss at the time, Keith Anderson, it was beneficial to me to work with that company because 8 years of architecture, I've spent 7 years at Abogov Kaspar firm, which is basically a high-end commercial builds. Like they do malls. I've built a couple little mini strip malls and stuff, and designed ponding systems for huge apartment complexes and condominiums and shit.
Wiring, plumbing, conduit.
All of that.
Is that where your love of conduit comes from?
More or less. And that's another story as well, because in early 2000s, I work in construction for a Polish guy. So I renovated basements. I built basements. I know how to do framing. I like all that stuff that I had done in my life up to the point to go working in the store had made complete sense to be very well equipped with the knowledge to go. Thanks, Christian. See you later. To be very well equipped with the knowledge that you need in order to be able to sell B&O. First of all, when you go to visit the house, you don't bullshit people, and then it's a fucking disaster for the installers, and 2 hours turns to a whole half a day or 2 days. So when I quit at Abegovs and went working in Deca Design, it was all about the millwork design. So because they were high-end homes, and that's where I learned and understand how to design millwork, how kitchen is put together properly, how the fuck do you backlight that? How do you put LEDs into this? How do you put in ceiling speakers in places, or ceiling speakers or sidewall speakers when there's wood and shit? Like, there's a lot of things to be considered that people usually have no experience in, or very little of it. And then in March 2011, I finally got the chance to work with B&O. And I had never looked back. In October, I went for the 1 week's induction training, and I was fucked after that, man. That was it.
In a positive way. It was
very
pleasant.
Positive way. It was absolutely ridiculous.
It was reciprocal.
Well, like, I was the only one that sat in a class and never took a note because I didn't need to.
Well, when you're interested, you don't really forget.
No. So I know more about that shit that, the kids all together combined, I have forgotten more than they knew. So it was interesting. And then after that, the company kind of fell apart in 2015, and I became a professional partner with B&O. And that's how I became a salesman, installer, accountant, and the whole business on its own. And at the time, I would average about 1,200 kilometers a week of driving, which is a lot of sitting behind the wheel. And then I hired Nicholas. And then with Nick, we started, we basically kept it alive in Alberta till May 16th, 2026, where we got run over by a logging truck and almost got killed. And that kind of put the business on the back burner, obviously. and subsequently, because I wasn't producing, I've lost the license, and then things went different. But and at the end of the day, I said, if you kick me out the door, I'm crawling back through the window. And a few years later, now I'm back on a horse, and I'm now I literally at my own expense, not my employer's expense. I had moved to Montreal, and I was gonna move to Florida, and I'm still gonna move to Florida and work with BNO till
I know
death do
you're
me
not
part.
emotionally sensitive, but just to show this wasn't
Oh
hyperbole.
no, yeah, this is not like we got rear-ended by a logging truck. Like this was a day the shit really hit the fan, and really the only thing that it really actually taught me is at the end of the day, only thing you're worth is your word as a man. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what else you did, and that, walk out of that was a blessing in disguise. I think
Oh, fucking
that was
sure.
that was way more for me to be doing in this world than fuck around and get killed in the logs and shit.
I
So
mean, I only just noticed they cut the roof open to get the guy out of the truck.
no, 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 that's the logs that took the roof out. He walked out through the roof.
Wow. I mean, there's
Yeah,
a
because
log in the cabin as well.
no, that's the plywood. That log actually did pierce through. Yeah, yeah. That one literally slid in through the a backup window.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I mean, he took you out. It's like, Jesus Christ.
oh yeah, no, we got all fucked up. So that's when my BNO got put a little bit on hold. I still worked with the company till I could, and then in March or April, I think, is when me and Mikey met on a podcast, and then in June they basically pulled my license, which was a definite feels bad. And I had the entire apartment set up. I had the 90s at the time because I was invited as one of the most producing pro partners in 2015 to go do a factory tour and 90th birthday for BNO, and seen the 90s, and I said, "Fuck y'all, man! I'm gonna have to buy these now." And I saved up and I bought the set of 90s, and I got them delivered on my birthday in 2016. And yeah, that's a Chevy Orlando, one of the shittiest rated cars for safety, bro.
It's kept up.
Right, so dude, that was a lot of stuff inside. I lost all my tools, by the way, up to that. So the episode that we did few months back where I showed my tools, those had to be all rebought. So I just stuck with Milwaukee because they are the best.
I mean, it's still kind of amazing that after seeing it upside down, topsy turvy, literally in the woods, that it comes
Hmm.
out and the cabin for passengers is sort of in one piece.
Hmm. I couldn't break that fucking side window. That's what I tell you. As I tried to, I didn't even know which way we were facing, right?
Yeah.
But to me, up was through that window, and it just like it wouldn't budge. Fuck. It's a good thing it didn't break, because it would have just the glass would rain on both of us. That would have been the dumbest thing I've done. But yeah, yeah, curling out of that was a lot of laughs, and then yeah, that was basically the end of it as far as the actual career for B&O goes later on. But I never gave up on the brand. And I'm invested in it in so much as far as knowledge is concerned. Also, that why not share it? Why not go up and help people like yourselves? You watch and you ask questions, and you get an answer.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I'm here. And I am now working with B&O again, so I guess a master technician for the Quebec Sound shop. So
which
there's
is
my story.
yeah, which is nice. Because you get to do what you love again.
Hmm? Oh yeah, that was my thing.
I mean, for if you don't follow Willie yet, old apartment pics.
Hmm. Yeah, there's my 17s too. They're in a good home. I know exactly where they're at. Yeah, that's the good times. I had the whole thing set up, and they just pulled the pin, and that was that. Oh wow.
Also, Henrik did a video with you, which is up on his channel in English.
Yes. I'm
So,
hungover as fuck. It was so funny. We totally forgot about it. But we went through the entire house and basically showed the automation, show what's possible to do with B&O. Like there is really, the limitation is your ignorance to learn it, and also your imagination. That's about it. And
It's oftentimes also the lack of customer-facing product manuals.
mhm.
I mean, I've spoken to two
The
people.
piano doesn't really have a product manual, man. This is when I brought the babies home. Live ones. I got my balls busted for having them in my bed. I remember that podcast. That's right.
But
Putting the
also
boots.
for simple things, like the 28s, because I think I've spoken to two people now today. Well, in the last week, not today,
Hmm.
uh, that were unaware of the changes between wide and narrow and how that works with either Theate or a BioVision.
Weird.
Because which is supposed to be in some manual somewhere, because I know it, and I think I was fucking around with it, and that's how I found out, because I can't remember the last time I actually read a manual, unless I'm so seriously stuck that I can't find it out.
But there's really no manuals that come with bloody anything from BNO, really. You get
No,
the
but
little.
like people say, like with 28s, you can't get Y to work, but it's like, yeah, but in the Theatre or Harmony or Eclipse, the modes correspond to numbers, like one,
Okay,
two, three, four,
I
etc.
have a question before I forget it. If does anybody here so far that's watching, does anybody here have a theater with a puck table running to something that he's controlling with it? Please come to the chat. I have a question, and the question is: when you press menu on the Bio Remote One, it pulls up the overlay, the screen menu, right, or the panel menu. But
Yeah,
if you go up to the up and down, left and right joystick,
yeah.
it's operating the puck, not the screen.
Hmm.
So you cannot navigate. If you have a puck source, you have to go to like, let's say you have an Apple TV on the Arc. You got to go to the fucking Apple TV, then press menu, then you can go into the LG screen menu and you can navigate up and down. If you are on a HDMI A with the puck A going to, let's say, a bell box or whatever nonsense, right? Is garbage. It will pull up the menu, but it'll still shoot puck table commands into the box instead of talking to the TV panel. So there's a little bit of a glitcheronies there. I don't know if it's just me, but I had experienced it now on 3 different theaters that we've put puck on.
That sounds like a glitch, because I don't use puck anymore because everything is
No point.
CNC,
Yeah.
and also our we still use cable, and the decoder is on like a little pin card that you just slide into the TV.
Mm.
So that's all internal. So like I have no use for it. So I would have to actually go out of my way to buy something with a puck table. Guy says the Oppo 103 on puck seems to work faultlessly. It could be that it's by sheer coincidence the puck for whatever you're using it with. Because I doubt
Probably.
they're Oppo players. I mean, those are rare now, Oppo players.
Hmm. But yes, you can. I understand what you're saying, guy. Like you can totally go and. But if you press the menu, the house button, and the LG screen menu comes up, right, or the screen menu, let's just call it that. If you go up and down, left and right, can you navigate the LG menu, or does it just well, if the Oppo is off, it's off. It's just gonna, or like if you have a, let's say, an overlay menu, then you can navigate the chapters with the same arrows. Would the chapters be navigated, or are you actually going to be controlling the screen? And I don't think you might be able to do even neither. I
Hmm.
just it's weird, but the puck is be like the flasher literally blinks because they took it off, put the phone in front of it, and you can see it go.
Yeah, maybe they don't use that button.
So Sandeep has what the Skybox, yeah, via puck correctly. So I think it may be that some of the U.S. generic puck tables, because I'm using US generic because there's I think there's 9 cable boxes for the whole North America. or 999 cable box standards for the North America. So you can just go in and pick whichever, and they don't work on the theater. It works on which was weird. We had the Helix box, which is like equivalent to like, Telus or Rogers TV or Shaw Cable, whatever the fuck. On the Harmony, it was US generic 5. It's US generic 7, or sorry, US generic 8 on the theater, and now it stopped working after a second update or whatever happened. It just doesn't anymore. Doesn't talk to it. So I don't know.
He'll test it tomorrow. I'm not sure. I can probably tell you tomorrow.
Right on, guy.
I mean, just email me, guy. I'll let Willie know. Or email Willie. beowillie@gmail.com.
Yeah. Shoot me a line, dude.
Or if you haven't been spammed enough yet.
No.
I mean,
the only good spam was when we were doing the giveaways those years.
Apparently somebody decided recently that they didn't like me, and I was signed up for like Christian Mingle or something like that.
Nice. Christian Mingle is total noob move. It's funny. But yeah, I missed that apartment. Fuck. That was a good time in there. Lots of good time in there. But yeah, these speakers were just bombing it in there. Like literally bombing it. Yeah, the Eclipse. You know what the drawback of the Eclipse was? When it went black screen, you couldn't see shit. It's dark. Yeah. Like Avant has a bleed through, right, with the LCD lighting, so it's still better. And this is the shelf that came off. I still have it. I send it to Prestige to see if they can rebuild it. And this is the C7, was it? Yeah. That the Eclipse came with? Yeah. Very, very thin. It was good times.
They're still quite thin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it hasn't changed much, but this was pretty custom.
Yeah, this was their TV.
I think they pretty much decided during this, like, we can't keep up with like having a C8, C9 custom, and then like they go too quick for us. Might as well try and use generic screens.
Yeah, and the cutout now is a lot forgiving for LG panels in there, so it's easier to so this was a sad day.
This broke my heart when I first saw that. This was my second big B&O love in terms of TVs, and it's just sitting there being tossed. It's like, oh.
Well, it hurts.
It hurts.
I had it sitting upright. I didn't toss it. We fucking put it down with dignity and respect that it deserves, and whatever the fuck else happened to it, this is how I remember it. Which looks really cool, actually. It's a very old B&O-ish rustic picture. You know, if you had a couch with it, it would still look like it's modern. But yeah, sorry, Mikey. Yes. That one goes. Yeah, that one is was a pain in the dick to move. And there's my little Beocom 2 that I airbrushed.
I only see your hand.
The multicam, right?
It's a camouflage. Where is it?
That's right. That was a long process.
You should have done a white multicam with your background being white everywhere.
Yeah, just good. Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I've done over the years, I guess. But actually did a Beosound 1 grill for in multicam. Sorry. This is the goodbye coaster. This is actually on the back of it says April 26, 2006, and exactly to 1 month, May 26th, I almost got fucking killed. So yeah, it was Struer, Denmark. This was a good time.
Yeah, you dressed up and everything.
Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. This is when it became real. Once I was standing in that room, that's when I knew that I made it with B&O as far as I could ever make it. And that's, like you are where all the most products were taken in pictures with in catalog. Every single product I think was photographed in that room or the foyer. That's basically the main entrance. So on that glass, like if you follow that glass and go sideways, it's a glass hallway, and it's got glass bottom. So you can see people, well, you can't see upskirts, I guess, right? You can see the shadows, but if you go down below that level, that's where the experiment shop is, or whatever they have. They put stuff in and how the display will work out, what would be the nicest, and blah blah blah.
So
And yeah,
this is where a lot of the money in Beolab 90s is in the casting of the chassis for the Beolab 90.
so yeah, this is the raw. Like this is basically when they pull the sand off of it, what it
Yeah.
looks like, and like they cut off all the extra where the casting was
75
gonna.
plus kilos of aluminium.
No, it's 65 after they shave it all down.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. It's still on there.
Oh yeah, it looked heavy. Plus the sand was still inside. So just to show how, like this thing is tough. Like that sand was fucking rock hard, man. I don't know how they melt it or what they do with it, but it was
No,
insane.
you wet it and you pound. It's a special type of sand.
This was another epic. This was a dream come true.
I mean,
To
you quite literally pound that sand until it's almost as good as solid. Like there can't be any air pockets because of the heat. They expand and they pop.
Yeah, no, it was insane to see it all. When I went there for the second time in 2016, I brought him a bottle of maple syrup, like one of the best bottle money can buy, because I'm like, he hadn't had that for a long time. He's like, yeah, the kids will love it. I'm sure they would.
Was this when
So
you decided I must have some 90s, or did you already have them?
I already had. I already no. This was when I said. Actually, the second time I got invited because I didn't buy them. I already put the money down, so that I got invited. I don't know. I just didn't. I don't give a shit even if they didn't have enough people to go with. I'd gladly fill in the blank for that. But I was the only one on the tour that actually had bought the 90s for real, and the rest they were trying to sell them to. I don't know if they ever anybody made it or not. But I already had money on them. I already had 10 grand down. I think I put down, so I was ready to go. And yeah, this is also surreal because that lady there, like, if you go to the old like 90s catalogs, she's much younger, of course, but she worked there. Like, she's actually on the fucking bulletin board, man, with the 25 years and up. So yeah, she's seen most of the B&O in last quarter century at the least come through her hands.
I mean, speaking of experience, this is partially why I like B&O. It's getting less and less with the years a little bit, but I am advocating for them to keep it that way to
Hmm.
because it's getting rare now where people work somewhere in the same place for 40 years.
Oh God, I don't think it's heard of anymore.
But that is exactly how you get craftspeople.
Hmm.
Like an
They just know it inside out. They look from
yeah,
it a mile away and they see something's wrong with it. Like when I met the guy that does is in charge and responsible for aluminium quality, I guess. Like the shit that he's thrown out, I actually took the remote because I didn't see anything wrong with it. The only thing that's wrong with it doesn't have the holes drilled in. So once you put the fucking chassis in, that's a one-way ticket. So
I guess you can drill your own hole then.
yeah, this was insane too. The room where the 90s were tested, because it was a room that had a suspension on itself, so it was actually completely vibrations free. Like bro's fucking rolling a huge pallet jack with like there's like two 90s on it, and you couldn't hear it inside at all, no vibration whatsoever. It was too quiet, very deafening. But yeah, they measured every single speaker driver from it. It was pretty insane to look at and just be a part of that. Think once you get into the B&O factor, you'll never change a brand.
I
Yeah,
mean,
this is something that.
this is like something 1980s ominous Doctor Who shit going on here.
Yeah,
Exterminate,
imagine that.
exterminate.
These were all lined up ready for being tested, and they test them for 24 hours with this like super loud, I guess, white noise and whatever noises that because it covers all the frequencies, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Well, they
the
should when
sweat.
it's that expensive.
They
Because
sweat
it's
the shit out of them.
a pain in the ass to move as well.
Oh my god. Yeah, the 90s, these guys moved. I was fucking shocked, man. They moved them on the side. Like, literally, they turned the box sideways. I thought it's going to rip out from the screws. Like, the box actually held together, man. They slid it in, went upright, and yeah, they made it all the way to the house. I was at the fucking loss for words as far as like I'm like that's a French way to do this. That's for damn sure. So this room was insanely quiet too. And there's the top caps for the rose gold Beolab 18s. Should have taken one. They were kind of expecting it, I guess.
Yoink.
Souvenir. Yeah, that's the one of the boards for the 90s. Like, it's crazy how much that silicone stuff they put in between those big capacitors because the vibration and stuff, so they don't get rattled off. Yeah, those
It's
speakers
not
were
even
built.
the vibration, it's just the amount of pressure it can build up.
These things, 6 days to make each.
I mean,
Like
50s are really capable, but like 90s can make an enormous amount of pressure. Where, if you can't afford 90s and you are okay with that, go listen to one. But if you can potentially afford them and you're thinking of that or 50s, don't go listen to 90s. Like, it'll ruin you. You want to sell a kidney. But, like, if you ever want to experience pressure, like, have a listen to some 90s, because, God, is it crazy.
Mm-hmm. 90s it's a next level animal. Like, that's what it is. It's, yes, they are undersold. It's hard to keep them as a dealer in stock because you got 100 and some grand just sitting there, right? And there's maybe one or two, maybe three at the most that you will sell a year because it's not something that is a high ticket value move.
No.
But to have them there just for the sake of the experience is a different story. But I just hope that we catch up with they catch up with the production for the theaters because I want to get mine finally before everybody else is, clients are clients, and I'm not a 2-year-old, so I don't need it right now. I'll wait. And once I get it, I'm hoping. And the reason also I don't want to get it now because I don't want to move it in this apartment to the other apartment. I'd rather just unpack it at one place and build it there and set it up than fuck around with skates if I'm going to end up with the floor stand and a TV, right? Because now that's a move, right? So I just know, and I know for a fact the minute I set that shit up, dude, the visas are going to come in or some nonsense, and I'm going to have to be like, fuck, it feels bad. Now I got to pack it all up. So,
I mean, speaking of 28s, some people I think misunderstood, or maybe they didn't catch up, but why I have 17s in the back now instead of 28s. Don't get me wrong, I still love 28s. It's just they sound noticeably different than 50s.
hence the prior conversation that if you go with 428s in a theater, that's ultimately the best. Or if you go with one set of 50s, then well, now you cursed your ears with best sound that there is, and it's hard to go back from it.
Yeah. If I want to do a massive upgrade, as in what would 428s be, it would have to be another set of 50s, and it's like, god damn it, that these current prices that can only be secondhand.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, it's not something that you just throw out like, hey, here, have 50.
There are people that are lucky enough to do that, but I'm no longer one of them. So I'm very glad that I bought them when I bought them. And
yeah, but at that point, if you go that lucky, then I'd rather have 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a pain in the ass to do as well.
Especially moving them is that's the biggest disadvantage between 90s and 50s. The moving the goddamn things is an absolute fucking giant task.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard 90s front and 50s rear, and it's fucking epic. That's how the first time I was demoed 90s with 90s front and 50s rear.
I might do that once I get to Florida. Sell the 18s and
50s rear.
50s rear.
You're gonna need a fairly big space for that.
Nah. fucking studio apartment on the top floor somewhere.
I mean, the amount of pressure that'll be in that room is going to be insane.
So,
I mean, yeah, like Laura says, secondhand 50s is like 27 grand pounds in Denmark. They're basically the same price as new at the moment, secondhand 50s, which is crazy.
Yeah. They hold their value, man. And you know what? That's the funny, because when I started working with B&O, Scott told me that, the manager of the store is like, this is the company that holds their speaker value the most. Like any other speakers, they don't cost increase some per
Yeah,
se,
but the
or
thing is,
don't drop in the value.
in the first 2 years, that wasn't the case. Because in the first 2 years, secondhand dropped to like 15 grand.
Yeah, people fucked up.
And then the B&O price started going up and up
Mm-hmm.
and up and up, and has never changed. And now it's like, well, even if you bought the original ones like I did, yeah, 50% of new price is old new price. It's like, what?
Yeah. So these are all the wiring harnesses, if for people that are watching and wondering what the heck it is. So they walked us through the entire production line of the entire Beolab 90 in the 2016 trip.
Yeah, there's
And
probably 10 kilos of copper in this thing.
oh fuck, I'm sure, and the bores and everything. Like, yeah, it is a machine, dude. Like that thing, it's the best speaker they've ever made. So you got to understand. But
Yeah, it ruins you. I get happier the longer it's been since I've heard them. Because you go and you listen to them and it's like, fuck. Damn it, I want this.
I'm doing, I think it's next week actually that I'm doing a setup. I think it might be next week. I'm doing an anthracite theater with the 90s that they already have in the
Sweet.
house. So, and I'm gonna talk to him because he has the smoke. He's got the oak panels.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to tell him that I'll pay the difference, and if he buys the walnut ones, I'll sell him my oak panels, and then we trade. Or fuck him, and I'll just buy another set of panels, and I'll have all three. I'll have the smoked oak and the goddamn walnut, and then whatever I land at in Florida with, in as far as the floor is, then I'll decide what I keep. Because if I'm thinking, yeah, 18s are cheaper to swap the grills than buying 50s for the rear.
I mean, so when is the next time you're like actually listening to some 90s? Because I want to talk to you the Sunday after and see how annoyed you are.
It's gonna be probably this or next week. I don't have my schedule here, but yeah, because I'm setting them up there, and then I gotta go to Mont Tremblant, which is the huge install that we did this week. The
And then you're
2-hour
gonna
drive.
have 5 minutes for your favorite track, and then you're
gonna. That's it. That's about it. Yeah, play a fucking couple things in it, and yeah. But that's just the way it is. Yeah, at least they're hooked up to an Eclipse on a wall mount. That turned out funny because I did it with the template like you're supposed to, right? I didn't like just stand on a template on the ground and measure off of it to try to transfer to the fucking wall. And Buddy's like a complete pessimist, like, no, this is gonna be all fucked up, man. It's just, I'm like, oh really? Like, do you think this is my first rodeo, bro? Like, this is not a, like, come on.
This is not an omelette au fromage.
Tabarnak, fucking, so I did it. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Why don't I just do me and you go do you and whatever, go sort some shit out. So I did, set it all up, fucking measured it all perfectly, had the template on, pre-drilled the holes, hung the bracket, fucking not even like perfect level, all that. It's kind of weird to do that Eclipse with the Gen 2 panel, like, so you do the LG panel over top of it. It feels bad for all the people that bought the original Eclipse, man. Like, because you can't really, the most expensive part now is that speaker that is more or less useless for you.
Yeah, you can sort of DIY it together, but like B&O hasn't made anything official.
So I think that should be some sort of a plan B but I think it's dead in the water.
As soon as those panels run out, as in replacement panels, I think you'll see a lot of them flooding the market for peanuts. And
Yeah.
they will still work with the B&O app, but
Hmm.
you have to sort of hodgepodge it together, potentially with 2 different wall brackets, and better
It's
hope
not
that.
gonna be pretty. Yeah, it's not gonna be pretty.
Well, it can be okay from like the 3.5 feet away. Sort
Yeah,
of
but
view.
it's still not gonna be pretty to put together, right? It's just a
Yeah.
fucking headache. So, but yeah, this is when I had them on fucking volume 90 and just see.
Wasn't the starting price for 50s like 40k back in 2017? No, it was 26,750 in euro.
That's what it started off.
20 asking price was 26,750 euro, I think. And in the first few months, there was only the oak option, so that was including the oak. So as soon as they started making more black front panels, that became then the default width. So they swapped round, as in like then 26,750 or whatever it was became with all black surrounds, and it was close to 30 with the oak, because it's if I'm not mistaken, it's 800 euro per oak panel at the time.
Oh, it's probably more now.
So it was 1,600 per speaker to dress it in oak as an extra. So yeah, the initial ones, it's nearly gone up 100%. It's not far off. Give it a year or so, and it's up 100%.
Yeah, I can recoup my all of my money off of my speakers and then some if I were to sell them, because the value that they are at now versus to what I had bought them for it's insane.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, I'm not sure it's. I don't know. There are reasons why they upped it, which are logical, like inflation and parts availability and the process of making it and that sort of thing, right? Because just energy is gone up like crazy. But then there's
you know
also
what?
a bunch of
Yeah,
price upping for no real reason other than exclusivity, which I'm not that fond of.
but you know what? At the end of the day, it's still like we talked about it earlier. I think they are still a bigger bang for the money and buck than doing a super high end Burmester and Bowers and Wilkins combo systems. Like to me, it's just and the stacks of gear and nonsense that you have to have around it. That's what I don't like. But yes, they are expensive, but so is life.
Yeah.
Fucking lettuce is $7 here, bro. What the fuck? Like used to be 250, like or $1.75 for a head of lettuce. Now it's $7. Like what are you putting in it? Like so.
I mean, yeah, just talk about speakers going up. When they first launched here in Euro, I think the 90s in black were 68,000 euro, and now they're 105.
Fuck. Oh, speaking of crazy pricing and stuff, what is your opinion on this new Ferrari collection, fourth gen A9 deal? That goofy ass painting. It's all over. I just got spammed from BNO as well. But like,
I tend not to read their emails, so I didn't see it. I didn't think.
but to me, I'd rather buy a cover from Skinny Play than spend, and I think it's like an extra $1,000 for this A9. I understand there's only 40 of them left or made, and they're basically
Ferrari?
trying to, yeah, and they're basically doing the same thing, like introducing the exclusivity of BNO to people that are fans of a certain artist or whatnot, like they've done with Balenciaga, which completely fucking just exploded as far as the
Let me start a poll on that.
do it.
Was
How many people know about what's happening with Balenciaga fiasco? That would be my first question. And like, did the BNO not know about them being as, I guess, dark as they are? Because that's insane. Like, that is absolutely insane.
Was Balenciaga a good idea in hindsight? Because to me, anyway, like, fuck me, you should have done some due diligence on the people you work with.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, this isn't funny anymore. This is like, I'm happy it's out of the way before the shit hit the fan, but like, whoo,
Hmm.
that was close.
That was really close, man. They scraped the belly on the landing with this one.
I mean, I'm not sure you, as a high end audio brand, you want to be uh well, apparently we're too plebeian for B&O, but like then you go and meet up with some people that are into spirit cooking and little children and stuff like that. I'm
It's
trying to
yeah.
keep it somewhat friendly to keep YouTube happy, but uh
Yeah, it's disgusting. The pictures that and for some reason I just flooded my TikTok because I guess I talked about it, and now it's just all over the map. Yeah, this is that Ferrari collection guy.
yeah,
So he made a
well, just something
painting.
more pleasant on the screen than us. And I personally, I think B&O needs to either silently run away from them or publicly say something like, "Guys, we're done here."
They should publicly drop him, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely, publicly drop him because that's not cool at all. So
no, this.
and
But the thing is, it wasn't even all that hidden, right? It's just like, oh, big name. So, like, oh, yes, let's do it. And it's like, you could have looked on their Instagram pages and such, and it's
mhm.
like you come
Well, I
out
think
with quite like to keep it somewhat family friendly. You work with a company that made BDSM gear for kids. Like, wait, what?
that's fucked up.
And we're talking like prepubescent children here.
Hmm. No, it's literally it's sickening. Like the things that because I did a little bit of my research, which I guess now it's demonized to do your own diligence and research. So yeah, I was pretty shocked about the decision making process that they had gone with it. They could have done the bag with somebody else completely. There are more expensive brands than Balenciaga in my eyes.
Yeah, go for
So
Gucci if you want name recognition.
yeah, but so yeah, it's no good. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's definitely I think that whoever's in the marketing department should be set down and talked to about doing their due diligence to researching party involved closely with and their history. And I can't believe that they just I never looked on Instagram. Well, I guess looking at B&O's Instagram, there's really not much to talk about.
Yeah, but
There's,
their designers' Instagram were publicly open,
I know for
and
Balenciaga, and that Russian lady, that she's pure fucking evil.
uh,
Period.
I'm not even sure if she was Russian. It sounded like it, but it doesn't even matter where you're from. But
She was evil.
when you post pictures of children's bedrooms that are covered in blood and stuff like that, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, that ain't
How
right.
about no?
Yeah, that ain't right, dude. Like
Like,
that's
unless the
not.
money is so good, but even so, like, then you're basically
It,
saying my morals are for sale.
well, that's what it is. It's everybody's got a price of their morals, I guess.
Yeah, well,
So
pick better, please.
yeah, do
Like,
your due diligence,
I
marketing
understand if
department.
it was a like, oh, we need some money quick, that you, but it wasn't. Like, you don't need to do some corporate espionage enhanced CSI nonsense. You
Hmm.
could have just Googled around their people on Instagram.
Yeah, it's just that was not a good move in my opinion, and I'm glad that it's just swept underground, and they made whatever how many ever bags they made. That's all gone now.
Yeah.
So good for you, but
I
I
mean,
think that was a major faux pas.
and I understand they're a bit brash and kick shins, and that's all fine up to an extent. Like,
Everything's got a point,
I
right?
don't get it, and it's not for me. I like before shit hit the fan. They what was it Balenciaga? Like this was 2-3 months ago. They bought shoes from homeless people and then spray painted them in a color and resold them for like $800-900, if not more, per pair of shoes.
That's fucked up to me.
People bought this shit. I don't like, and supposedly they made flip flops, as in slippers or whatever you call them, depending on where you are in the world, from plastic water bottles. As in, like literally, you put the toe hooks in on a plastic water bottle, and you sell that for like $300.
Wow.
This is not craftsmanship or high end stuff like I consider B&O to be a part of personally.
No, no, this is just bullshit. It's
I
really
mean, it's
nonsense.
not like B&O goes back to, I don't know, the year 2000, looks for some old Bose speaker, slaps some aluminium on it, and say, "See, new fashion." It's
Yeah,
Bio
yeah.
Bose now.
Fudge. Like it's and yeah, that's absolutely insane. But I don't know. So do you think that the well A9 I think is gonna be soon enough a farewell?
I hope not.
But you know, fourth gen the whatever Ferrari edition collection, whatever 40 pieces made left. I
Yeah, but
think that we're bidding this box adieu as far as everything about it.
well, I mean, there could be a new gen. If you're eagle-eyed and want to go on the FCC's website, they have been retesting a Beosound core. And there's internal pictures, and it looks a heck of a lot like there's a Mozart chip in there.
Okay,
So it seems like a Mozart Beosound core will be available soonish.
that's interesting. I
Uh,
haven't heard anything about it to be honest.
because they tested it like literally a month and a bit ago.
Can you tell what antennas it has? Does it have Wi-Fi in it or
Hold
no?
on,
Probably not.
I'll try and look up the link. Uh,
Because that would be interesting if they finally figured out the Visa or Visa from it or for it.
I mean, there's no. Yeah, they tested it 18th of November this year.
Okay, okay, that's fresh.
Yeah.
That's very fresh.
Antenna spec. Come on, load. Oh.
Lawrence wants the link.
So there.
Okay, whole unit, antenna onto horizontal direction, antenna on a vertical direction. That's gonna be for Wi-Fi. I don't think it's or Bluetooth.
Yeah.
It's. I don't think they're gonna have antenna access unless you said. Yeah, there is no Wi-Fi module in it for sure. I think it would be way too close. Interesting. Did the radiation pattern measurements too? That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
They're thorough.
Antenna to 5.547 gigahertz. That's not Wi-Fi.
Biggest difference is that. Wait, I must have missed your write up, Digineer. The biggest difference is the streaming chip. Yeah, that must be then the Mozart chip.
Makes
Because
total sense.
because Mozart is on the subboard because you need to be able to change it.
The only thing that worries me, there's gonna be no link eye on it. There's gonna be no IR. I'm certain of that.
Yeah, because
My battery's dying. I'll be right back.
I thought it looked new on the inside. Like, I haven't opened that many Beosound cores, obviously,
Hmm.
but I don't remember it looking like this, and this looks awfully Mozarty to me.
It makes complete sense to go to Mozart, because that's the only product that they have. It's the only streamer that lacks the ability. Let's just do that. Poof.
I don't think there's an HDMI on it. No.
No.
But
What worries me is how hot does it run? Because everybody that has a shape, I don't know if you have that little the little filler pad that comes with it
mm-hmm.
on the inner tile, the little circle. Take it the fuck off. Take it out of there and just leave the core touching the wall, or if you want to put a couple of rubber feet, because that is cooking the boards, man. Because it's just a big sweater as an insulator. It's no good. If you have that behind your core, take it out.
Well, it could also just be that the ASE board is going 80 to 100% full tilt, right? And if the Mozart platform is running, I don't know, easily at 50% or less, then it might just not be all that hot. But, I mean, it's obviously a redesign, because otherwise you wouldn't have to retest it with the FCC.
Yes. They did take out an RG45 port for the link eye. Because now it's just the network and a power link in there, really. Some of a bitch. That sucks.
I wonder if they're going to differentiate them on the website. Because how do you know what you're buying otherwise?
You know what? The only thing that I would have as a comment to the Mozart platform that as far as the Beolink environment itself needs to be resolved is, if I'm streaming, like I started playing from the Emerge and I joined the level.
Mm-hmm.
If I turn off the Emerge, it cuts the music on the level. The ASC platform does not do that. It just keeps playing where it was. It keeps playing here. You know what I mean? Basically, just mutes the source speaker. And yeah. So see, this is the old one, right?
Yeah, but this is all the stuff taken off of it, I think. Pretty sure.
Well, so there is a fucking IR port.
I think so.
But what do you? I wonder if you could update older cores. Well, what's the point of update? You're gonna keep the fucking plastic that was in?
See, because like
you're gonna take the whole board.
I scrolled up and like this blue.
Oh, that board is over top of them, so it's covering the shit. Okay, that makes sense.
So they keep on dressing it down because that's where the heatsink is earlier.
Oh, I see. They're taking it apart. Oh God, that's interesting. That is very interesting.
I mean, I hope they do the Mozartify for like an A9 Mark V or whatever. Oh, for anybody that hasn't updated with the M3, M5, and ASC platform things, B&O Radio now works on that.
Oh, they did finally.
Yes,
that was an update. Okay.
So
fucked up a couple of our levels in the store.
Because now you can, I think you have to reset it, or like reboot it.
Reboot it, just reboot it, yeah.
Yeah, and then you can have your M3 or whatever join in or pick B&O Radio as a source. So you don't.
That's awesome. So you don't have to have tune in anymore. Well, you could, but you don't have to.
I think they may actually take it all the way out at some point.
Makes sense to me. To me, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. If I'm listening to the B&O radio, which is net radio, and all the stations are there, versus TuneIn, which is if there's the same stations available, I really don't care what platform I utilize as long as it multi-rooms in my house.
Yeah. Well, the the votes are in. Was Balenciaga a good idea in hindsight? No.
No.
6%. And 20% is
So
I don't know. I have a feeling this is gonna maybe not B&O, but it's gonna follow Balenciaga like with a foul smell that you'll smell
I don't
for.
think they can recover from that, in my opinion. Hollywood's dropping it left, right, and center. Everybody. I don't think that if they recover from that, then they're. I don't think it's going to be a recovery that was for what it used. They used to be respected like prior to the fiasco. There's no way that they can gain it all back. I don't see it happening. But they're
Yeah.
not going to go bankrupt because of it. That's for sure. So.
Oh, also in other news, and I don't know if we affected it in any way. It's not something to, I don't know, be happy about or proud of, but sort of like I kind of told you so. The NFT thing didn't go so well, according to the B&O Discord.
Hmm.
Apparently, under 200 images out of 1925 were minted.
Oh, really? So not much.
So it seems like a lot of people, and this is pure speculation on my part, it seemed like a lot of people wanted to whitelist to do something and make some money off being able to be first. And like a very speculative market where you sell your spot in line, that sort of idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
I'm not
know.
even against NFTs. I just think, like, for B&O and like for pictures that you don't fully own, because you don't have commercial rights to them if you buy it,
Hmm.
and then you don't have the full profit margin if you sell them, which is even
Yeah, I don't. I
weirder.
don't. I don't get it.
You
I
know,
don't get it.
I like the technology, but it's sort of like, what are we doing here? I also wonder, like at HQ, like upper management, do you just like the word crypto, or do you actually know what it entails?
Crypto's being attacked pretty well now, or pretty good recently. So
So it's, I don't know. I hope it
not a
just
good
didn't.
market.
Well, again, a day late and a dollar short, as they always are.
Well said.
My concern, same with the F1 Alonso deal. How much did they lose from that? I don't know. It was a sponsorship in the end, so potentially all of it.
Hmm.
Get your name out there with one of the best drivers in Formula One. Like, how do
That's
you
all you could do.
quantify return on investment on that?
You don't. You don't really.
I mean, I'd rather them sponsor Alonso than the entirety of the Williams team.
Well, yeah.
But apparently they're floating in money or something. I don't know why you would do this if you're
Crypto's
not
shit in the bed.
swimming in money, quite literally,
Yeah.
because it seems expensive.
Yeah. I don't know. I just I was actually considering buying some of that nonsense, but at the end of the day, for what? I would probably print the picture. I don't care, and make it a frame. There you go. But
Yeah,
you
but
know,
if somebody shows it to you in a high enough resolution, you can do the same thing, and then you're not out like $600 or whatever it is.
hmm. Yeah, I don't. For me, I don't feel that crypto anymore as much as I used to. Well, obviously, it's just going tits up. So
Yeah,
I'm
but
just sitting there
NFT and
looking at my
crypto is
money
it's
evaporating.
kind of different.
Yeah, but you know what? I never really collected art, and as far as my art collection is more or less all BNO, anyways. That's
Yeah,
artistic enough for me. But I don't think that I would be investing into that just for the frivolous shits and giggles. As far as the NFTs are concerned, like, yeah, good idea, nice try, it's good for you guys, but I doubt that it's something that weighs heavy in a profit margin for BNO.
but in terms of this, I sort of like it, but like the price is insane. The what is it? The Ferrari Shepherd collaboration. Go
Hmm.
buy yourself something nice at Skinny Play with a 10% discount code. It's in the chat. mean, even the custom ones, you can custom upload images to Skinny Play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it quite literally can be Willie's face, and you'll get another 10% off.
Jesus Christ, don't do that to yourselves, people.
But they also made some for the NFT crowd, and like the B&O covers are like €500. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's because I guess, well, it's based off of that painting, right?
Yeah, and I
And
get it for the art, but like, but
to me, it's the same like Berluti. At least, I just hope that he don't come out like, some with the kids and children going on.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's one thing that I hope that they found somebody that actually is a artist that with no marketing harm, I guess, or commercial harm.
I mean, but like here, the Skinny Play has a bunch of options for an A9, and the normal price is €95. So you have to like almost 6x that. And if you want fully custom, it's 139, and that's all without discount codes. It's like,
So,
like I'm not even saying this to plug it. It's just like Skinny Play as a service. Whether you use my discount code or not, I don't care. But
it's still cheaper.
like, it's so out of whack in terms of what you get, in my opinion.
I think that entire thing is again based on the exclusivity, right? That
Yeah.
you buy this because yes, this is original B&O piece. I pay stupid money for it, which I shouldn't have or didn't have to, but I did because I wanted that as there's only 40 of them in the world. I have one. Fuck you, right? That's basically the bragging rights. The rest is I would just go with like the globe
It's
from
like your
Skinny
David
Play.
Lynch shape.
Oh my lord, that was what the heck. But same again, right? Like some people
What was
bought
that?
it.
There was 4 speakers and 8 tiles or something for like $110,000.
Mm-hmm. That was insanity. That
And
was like
it looked awful.
it was worse than Berluti. Berluti, at least the balance looked nice, I must say. But
balance for what?
Berluti balance.
Oh yeah.
That looked decent. I also like the what is it, the marble ones that they did. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
Except the logo was crooked.
I'm still not sure leather is a material used or useful for on speakers. I don't know.
I don't think they've ever used leather with any combination that I can remember as far as B&O is concerned.
Does any other brand use leather on their speakers? I mean, surely somebody does, but it's really uncommon, isn't it?
I've never heard of it, to be honest, other than the Berluti nonsense. I've never heard of it. But it was a cool concept, but stupid money got me angry. But I'm over that now. I'd rather have him Berluti than Balenciaga. I can tell you what, because that doesn't hurt the image. The good old Serene.
Yeah, people, last chance, because I'll be quite literally gone in a few hours. If you want to have your setup in the new intro, which I'll make on probably Thursday when I'm back,
send pictures.
Email them to me, mickeypd4@gmail.com. I'll put it in chat again.
Yeah. Dude, it's time to upgrade or update our intro music. So we could. How many times have we done it? I think 3 times so far.
Something like that. And just because we seem to have amazing photographers in our group with amazing setups, it doesn't mean that if you have, I don't know, an older setup, or let's say you are only in the BeoVox stuff.
It doesn't have to be just current
doesn't
gear.
Matter. No, we like all things B&O.
That's right. If you have a 6 setup with the 9000, send a picture, man. It's no regrets whatsoever.
And it doesn't matter if it's expensive or if it's cheap. To me, what I think is most important is that you like your stuff.
Yes.
And you're proud of it. And that can be like, even if you I don't know, let's say you by happenstance you're 12 and it took you 5 weeks to get 50 quid together or something like that, and you bought something B&O, send it, please. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it means a lot, just like it means to you. Because at the end of the day, all these piano black editions, son of a bitch, these are nice. These are beautiful. I sold a pair of those. That was the last pair of Beolab 5s, piano black, and then they No, actually, no, it wasn't. Then they had this, but in silver aluminum polish. That was the last pair. That was the last edition of them. And I've seen one pair here in Montreal. We went to service. They was buzzing a speaker, just plugged the power link back in and out, and it was okay. Something just rattled loose, probably.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I still love 5s. Maybe eventually I'll own some in the US, but
Oh, you'll be able to buy them here. There's plenty of those.
yeah, but people still want like 15 grand for them.
No, 10 G's is the most you can ever ask for them now here, especially after if you replace the chassis, which you eaten a little bit of a penis on it, but yeah, you can sell them for 15. But then obviously they're more or less brand new. That's a cool setup. BV10 with 9000 and Prestige Creators cover.
Yeah,
I'm digging it. And it's probably B&O CDs by the looks of it.
If you couldn't tell, these are Anders' pictures.
Yep.
A resident photographer that actually should do B&O shoots because they're just better than what B&O
They're
does.
awesome. Well, B&O uses more or less CGI now, right? It's all generated nonsense.
And also, I don't think I've ever seen Anders use any angry vegans. I think.
No, it's not even a random one walking on the street. Yeah, no, his pictures are beautiful.
I mean, you did see beautiful. This, right? He updated his harmony with the anthracite covers.
It looks sick, man.
And also
an anthracite cover for the Force stand. It looks totally awesome.
Again, Top Gear, not Top Gear, Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people watch Top Gun apparently because we had it earlier with 28s as well.
Yeah. I need to go see that movie for God's sakes. But anyways, you gotta drive in a few hours, so let's call this a night. Oh, my favorite.
Yeah, some nostalgia for you. One more picture and then we're out. The hard out can be extended.
I still have it working with an SD card in it, but right now it's in the box.
And a last artistic shot. And
nice.
I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, giving us a thumbs up and that sort of stuff. Ander, thank you very much for the super chat. Always fun. Thank you very much for keeping the lights on too. No show tomorrow because I'll be in the UK and
I'll be somewhere in I don't know where I'm going.
Stress and disaster and
and so on and so forth.
If all goes well and if the boat doesn't sink, you'll see me again next Sunday, hopefully with a new intro.
That'll take your 50s.
So have a good one, everybody, and see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.